Welcome everyone to the Pickswise NFL show. My name's Jacob, this is Andrew, and today we're going to talk about probably the most surprising team in the NFL this season, and that's the Carolina Panthers, who right now are tied for first in the NFC South at 3-2, and we're going to explain how they've gotten to this point. So Andrew, when we're looking at the coaching staff of this team, how have they been able to really find success with kind of an island of misfit toys, if you will?
Yeah, that's a fair description. Start this off by saying, hand up, I was wrong about the Panthers. I've got some egg on my face. I thought they were headed into a full-blown rebuild, when Cam Newton left this offseason, Ron Rivera left this offseason, Luke Kuechly, the heart and soul of the team, retired. It looked like they were headed into a kind of football purgatory, tear it all down and build it back up. I did not see them competing for much this year. They've obviously defied my expectations, everyone's expectations. I think the coaching staff is a large part of that. You've got to tip your hat to Matt Rhule. He rebuilt programs at Temple and Baylor up from nothing. A lot of people thought, man, you can do it in college, the AAC, that's one thing. Try doing it in the NFL. He's shown that he is not overmatched by the pro ranks. He can do it in the NFL. He has already rebuilt the culture right off the bat without even a full offseason. This team is just playing with a ton of juice. They look like they run through a brick wall from Matt Rhule. I like the hires he made, obviously at offensive coordinator, bringing in the young offensive mind, Joe Brady from LSU. I know you're a big Joe Brady fan.
Huge Joe Brady guy. I mean, probably the best bet of my life was picking LSU last year to win the national championship in the beginning of the year. So, rode with Joe Brady the whole way. Still, big Joe Brady guy.
Yeah.
And,
I was going to say about Joe Brady, obviously he was a large part responsible for Joe Burrow becoming the first overall pick, and he's shown it that he can adapt to the NFL as well. They're losing a lot of pre-snap motion, a lot of play action. A lot of these NFL coaches are struggling to adapt to 2020. You either adapt or you die. You've got to get creative. Brady's been very creative so far. I love the way that he's utilizing Robbie Anderson in particular, using a lot of that motion. He's totally revitalized Teddy Bridgewater's career. I think Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, obviously Joe Brady's going to get a lot of the credit. Phil Snow, the defensive coordinator, with what he has been able to do with all the youth that he has just been truly incredible. I think a head coach, offensive coordinator, and defensive coordinator, they're very well set up for the future.
All right, well, you touched on Robbie Anderson, and I think that's been one of the biggest breakout stars for this offense. But how has this offense been so good without guys like Christian McCaffrey, who's been out for the past couple of weeks, Teddy Bridgewater, new guy at quarterback? How has that happened?
Yeah, I think a large part of it is to Robbie Anderson. A large part of this offense's success is due to the coaching staff as well, and Joe Brady, as we talked about, understands the value of targeting running backs in the passing game. It's one of the best ways to keep defenses honest, keep them on their toes, get them involved, running routes. A lot of teams, when a star player Christian McCaffrey went down, may have altered their game plan, changed their philosophies. Huge credit to Brady for sticking with what works. They didn't miss a beat. Mike Davis has slid in seamlessly for C-Mac, and they're targeting him just as heavily. Mike Davis, in his 3 games as the starter, has 22 receptions. Passes to running back are some of the most efficient you can get. Obviously, outside of the running backs, Teddy Bridgewater's been great. A lot more mobile than I expected him to be, even after all the knee issues and everything. Robbie Anderson has at least 99 yards in 4 of his 5 games. I think that's incredible.
Crazy.
Man, Jets fans, you gotta pour one out for them. That must be brutal to watch Anderson shining like this. I think the fact that Anderson is looking so much better than he ever did in his career in New York is a testament to the Carolina coaching staff. Also a little bit of a bad sign for the Jets on the organization. That's a different topic for a different day. Overall, I think when Christian McCaffrey comes back, it's going to give them a huge boost, but they've managed to weather the storm. They've done it against some good defenses too, obviously against the Chargers defense that has a lot of talent. Obviously, they played teams like the Bucs already. It's not like they've just been doing this against a bunch of scrubs. So I think on offense, you've got to love what you're seeing. The offensive line has played better than I expected them to, and clearly the loss of McCaffrey hasn't hurt them much, if at all.
Cannot agree with you anymore. I think you said it perfectly top to bottom, but now defensively, you said Luke Kuechly out this whole season, out forever. He's retired now. How has this defense, with so many young players, been able to really be something?
Yeah, and this defense is really what has surprised me and really what I was wrong about. I thought coming into the year there were some intriguing offensive pieces, Robbie Anderson, DJ Moore, obviously Curtis Samuel, and Joe Brady. I wasn't sure how they'd pan out, but I thought, okay, this is a unit with some upside. It's got a chance to be pretty good, do some creative things. On defense, the cupboard looked extremely bare to me. Luke Kuechly, as we said, the heart and soul of the team, retires. James Bradbury, their top cornerback, leaves for the Giants, got a huge contract in free agency. Those were devastating blows to the linebacking core and the secondary. I looked at this roster on this side of the ball, it was extremely young. I thought there's no way they can play at a high level in 2020, especially with the reduced offseason with all the rookies and second-year players that they have. And yet, here they are, the secondary. You got to tip your cap to Phil Snow. You got to tip your cap to the general manager, Marty Herney, here too. He's made some shrewd moves. The Eagles cut cornerback Russell Douglas on September 5th. The Panthers claimed him on September 6th. And despite not being with them the entire offseason, he has slid seamlessly into a full-time starting role at cornerback. He has been playing fantastic. Dante Jackson, their second-round pick in 2018, has also been playing great when he's been out there at cornerback. Eli Apple, they signed from the Raiders were about to sign him until the Panthers signed him this offseason. He's still only 25. So with Jackson, Douglas, and Apple, you've got an extremely talented but extremely young cornerback group that can continue to grow. At edge rusher, they drafted Brian Burns in the first round. They drafted Yetur Gross-Matos in the second round just this past year. Those guys are both only 22, and they are balling out. It looks like they've got a great defensive end duo for the foreseeable future. And obviously in today's NFL, those are the two most important spots, your pass rush and your secondary. Linebacker is still a work in progress for the Panthers, but obviously linebackers aren't quite as valuable as what they used to be. Here's a stat that I think would blow your mind if you told me this at the beginning of the year. The Panthers are only allowing 6.3 yards per pass attempt. That's the third lowest figure in the entire league. And they're playing guys that are 22, 23, all over the place. They just completely shut down Matt Ryan and the Falcons offense this past week. So again, it's not like they've only been doing it against a bunch of scrubs. Brian Burns had a strip sack of Matt Ryan in that game. These young guys on defense are playing really well. So I don't think the Panthers are just set up well for this 2020 feel-good season. They're set up well for many years to come with the coaching staff, the offense, and this youth movement on defense.
All right, well, very well said, Andrew. Top to bottom, and I guess we should just learn that you can't judge a book by its cover because it looks like the Panthers are here to stay. That's our show. Make sure to like and subscribe, and we'll see you guys next time.